Good evening, everyone. I appreciate everybody's time. We are starting time now. So this is Eretmis Cyber Chat. We do this every Friday night, 7 p.m. Eastern, and we appreciate your time and joining us to share in the knowledge and developing ourselves as security professionals or aspiring security professionals. Welcome to the Eretmis family. If this is your first time of joining us, we are starting here time now. So tonight, there is a lot that we are going to cover. We are all going to learn something new, whether you're already in the security field or you are looking to get into the security field. So there's so much to cover. I think we might probably even do two parts. So we will do part one and then part two. So we are about to start, and like as we always say, we are going to make sure the hour and change that you spend with us, it is going to be fruitful. You are going to learn something new that you can keep in your toolbox. So let's jump in. So tonight we are looking at how to get into breaking into cybersecurity in 2024. So, and if you're already in the field, we will look at maybe probably next week, we will look at how to scale up, right? Move up or stack up cybersecurity jobs. So we are going to look at that also as well. So you are welcome once again. We are transmitting on YouTube live, and I encourage everybody to check out our YouTube channel. We have everything that we do for Cyber Chat. We post on there. Really informative, really good stuff that you can get on the YouTube channel. And then also we have a WhatsApp group that we are going to post for everyone who is interested, get to be part of the family. And when we put links for meetings like this, you are going to get the link and you'll be able to share in everything else that we do. So you are welcome. I'm Dr. Emmanuel Edu. I'm going to be your facilitator for tonight, as usual. I'm a former United States Army captain. I'm the CEO of Eretmis Inc., a cybersecurity consulting firm and a PCI QSA company, and soon to be ASB company next week. We are based in New York. We do PCI audits, cybersecurity, everything. And then also the founder of Eretmis Academy. I'm also a former professor at University of CTC, Central Texas College, and then also University of Maryland Global Campus. And I love to talk about cybersecurity all day. So we are also partners for Eretmis Academy. Eretmis Academy. We are partners with authorized partners of CompTIA. So we have 20% discount for all exams vouchers, and we push that down to all our family members. So if you're on here, you are looking to sit for any of the CompTIA exams, get with us. We can give you a 20% discount. And then also for everything that we are doing here for Cyber Chat, you can also use that for continuous educational points for any certification exam that you have to renew, right? You'll be able to use that also as well. So you can also get with us and we give you more info on that. And I was talking about our WhatsApp group. We have a Eretmis WhatsApp group. If you want to join, we will put out a link. You can join that, and we post cybersecurity stuff, different trainings, different webinars and stuff like this that we post on there. And then generally also we put some questions. People from the community put questions and stuff, cybersecurity. So we discuss everything cybersecurity on there, and it's a great place for you to also network and link up as well. So please do well when we post the link, join. And then for our YouTube channel, like I said, what we are doing tonight is being transmitted on YouTube. So please subscribe, get on there and share, spread the word, and have others also benefit from it. So for tonight's discussion, we are going to be looking at how to break into the cybersecurity space. So if you are looking to get into cybersecurity, this is something that you don't want to miss. And some of the things we are going to touch on is these questions that we've outlined here. So first question is there a strong demand for cybersecurity please hold one. Is there a strong cybersecurity demand in your state, in your metro area? And then the second question is what skills and educational credentials do you need to enter the cyberspace? How much can you make when you enter the cyberspace? That is the most important, for most people. And then also the next question is, how hard is it to find a cybersecurity job, or for employers to fill a cybersecurity job or role, or yes, a cybersecurity position within the company? And how in demand is a cybersecurity, within your community, within your state, and what roles can you target to start a cybersecurity career? So, and then how are you going to do the transitioning, right? Switching to cybersecurity. How are you going to do that? So last week we were privileged have to have had one of our students, Naomi. She took us through her journey switching from working in the healthcare and switching into cybersecurity. And she gave us some really good insights, and also, gave us some insights into what she's doing currently as a data privacy analyst. So, such stories are very encouraging, and they also let us know that it is very possible, it is doable. But from everything that she was talking about and she was saying, it didn't sound like it was easy, because it is not easy, but it's very doable. Very, very doable, but not easy. So if it was easy, guess what? Everybody would have been a cybersecurity professional being paid six figures and more, right? It is not easy. That is why it is not everybody doing it. So if you want to pursue this path, just have it at the back of your mind. It is not easy, but it's very doable. So if people have done it, you can also do it, right? And I've seen all types of people within different industry with different capabilities gone through to become cybersecurity professionals. So I don't know, what you think your situation is, but it is very possible. The only thing that is going to make you successful or not successful is to have that attitude of perseverance. So you have to be able to persevere, and keep pushing, right? So if you give up, then you are going to lose at that point, right? So no matter how long it takes, there are some family members on here. Maybe I'll probably call one or two of them out. Uh, there is a particular person who was on my checklist for people who were overdue to get a cybersecurity job, and fortunately he got a job last year, so I was able to cross him off my checklist for last year. So I think I had within the Eretmis family, I had almost like 10 people, right? I mean, there are everybody else, comes in, get a job, go ahead, and others are applying. But there are some people that I was like, there is no way these people should get jobs within the shortest possible time, because I saw something in them, right? Some got jobs really quick, others not so fast. But there was one, eventually he got a job over almost a year and a half, almost 2 years, right? So what I'm trying to say is that it is very possible, but you just have to, if he stopped pushing, or he was like, I give up, he wasn't going to get a job. And now he's doing very well on the job, because I knew he could do the job. That was why I couldn't really figure out what the problem is, even though I know some of it, family related and all that. But still, all that I'm trying to say is it is very doable. So before we get into how to break into cybersecurity, we are going to start from the fundamentals, right? So, what is cybersecurity in the first place, and then we build our case moving forward. And there is a lot. I'm going to show you some tools and some techniques that we are all going to use to do some gap analysis on ourselves, not cybersecurity gap analysis on the job. So it's going to be pretty interesting. So everybody should hang tight. Now we are going to look at what cybersecurity is. So what is cybersecurity? We have different definitions, from all different schools of thought. But cybersecurity simply is the protection of people, processes, and technology that we use within our organization, right? So cybersecurity is not just technology. We are also looking at people, processes, technology. And reason why, we have these three that I always talk about is that who is going to use the technology? People, right? Who is going to configure the technology? People. Who is going to try to break into the technology? People. And the processes, they are structures we put in place to help people and technology to function effectively, right? So how we protect our data, the systems that uses the data, and the people who are, manning the data and the systems using the data and the processes that we use to do that. How we protect all of these, is what we consider to be uh, cybersecurity, and going beyond cybersecurity, information security, which covers cybersecurity and everything else. So when we talk about security in that space, anything and everything that we use to protect ourselves in the cyberspace or beyond, even if not we not if even if not we if we are not connected to the internet, then we are not in the cyberspace, but we still need to protect ourselves. So that is the basic definition for cybersecurity or information security and everything that comes with it. So broken down, very simple and easy way. Now we are going to jump into some of the fun stuff, right? So getting this out of the way, we've defined cybersecurity, so everybody should know what that is moving forward. Now, why a career, or why should you consider a career in cybersecurity if you are not already in cybersecurity? For everybody in it, they know already. I mean, I know some people's answer to this will be like, yeah, I know, more money, uh, flexibility of time, right? Being able to work remotely, being able to stay anywhere in the world and work, all that is part of it, right? But mostly, I like to base everything on facts and statistics, right? So somebody can tell you the money is good, they pay, 100K plus is good, you can work remotely and all that. But what are the facts actually backing this? And we are going to, right, you don't have to take my word for it. We are going to go to the authorities and places that we all believe in and trust, right? So let's look at some of the statistics, and then we'll go to the actual sources of these statistics, right? So the cyber field, as a career, area, it is the demand for security professionals, or the cyber field itself, is rising, right? Everything in terms of demand, employment, and all that is rising within the cyber field. In the same way, attacks on the cyber field, or attackers trying to break into companies' network and stuff, that is also on the rise. So that kind of logically makes sense, the need for more cybersecurity folks to protect the cyberspace. Now, aside that, so that is one reason you want to get into a career that is growing, that has potential, right? If you want to switch into any career, you want a career that is going to, aside looking at the money and all that and the flexibility, you want to see that there's growth, opportunity for growth in that career. So this is one, and we are going to look at it statistically also as well. So from the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, uh, employment within the cybersecurity space, it is projected to grow by 32% from 2022 to 2032, right? So this is not Dr. Edu saying, this is statistics from, guess who? The Bureau of Labor Statistics. And they are the ones who are in charge of everything labor statistics in the United States. So if they are saying the growth is going to be 32%, going up, they at least I think they know what they are saying, right? So I'll trust them than any other statistics that is out there, right? And this is much faster. This kind of growth in the cybersecurity space is much faster than the average for all other occupations. So it is the fastest growing field so far within the United States and around the world, right? So if not anything, that is one of the motivating factors or motivational factors for you to get into this space. Now, also, another thing that we have to look at. So I started off by saying it is not easy, but it's doable, right? So getting into cybersecurity might be a bit tough. And there are some folks on here in the Eretmis family who are still applying for jobs and doing interviews. They can tell you that, right? It is not easy. But then when they're able to scale it and they get to the other side and they come back and they share their story, uh, it seems fun, and people admire them. But then you forget that when they were struggling to climb up, it wasn't easy, but they had to keep up, keep pushing, right? So it can be very tough sometimes, but it is worth every bit of it, right? Like Naomi was saying last week, sorry, she said if she knew she was going to get the kind of life she has now as a cybersecurity professional, she wouldn't have really, even if it took her almost a year to train, to prep, to get a job, she wouldn't still have regretted it, right? It took her almost maybe I think 9 months to 10 months ish. But even if it took her more, I think that like the benefits outweighs everything that you're going to put in, right? And if you look at it also from a career perspective, if you're going into any other field, like look at the amount of work you're going to put into nursing, so the years and the money, medical school, the years and the money, all other fields, the years and the money that you're going to put in there, right? But with the security side, you can leverage some of the skills you have already together with training that you're going to get. And you can easily, even if it takes you a year to train, get the hands-on, get work on projects, get that experience, and eventually get a job, it is totally worth it, right? So it might be tough. It might seem tough, even when you're applying for the jobs and all that. It's not going to come easy, unless, of course, I'm not sure if Sheila is here. Unless, of course, if you are Sheila, and then you will do one interview and you're going to get that job, then you will say it's easy, right? But even that, I mean, that is one out of, I don't know the statistics for that, right? So, and then also the demand, although the demand is high, mostly it takes a bit longer to fill cybersecurity positions, frankly. So that is why it might look like, I think there was some discussion in the Eretmis WhatsApp group, right? And then I think somebody was talking about, well, they said, like they keep saying all these, there's a lot of job openings and there's a high demand, but then when you're actually applying for the jobs, it seems like there is no way to get in. It might seem like that sometime, but then also remember that applying for the job, it comes with its own set of skills, right? There are some tips and tricks that you can use to get ahead, right? So that is a different conversation. So just throwing that out there. Now, more statistics from the U.S. Bureau of Statistics, right? Now, the median pay or salary for a cybersecurity professional is 112. This is not Dr. Edu saying, right? That is about 53.85 per hour in terms of, hourly rate. And then also the work experience in related occupations is less than, so you can get in with 0 to maybe 5 years experience, right? On the job training, not required. Number of job openings in 2022, they don't have the 2023 one yet because we just finished 2023. It's 168,000, so almost 170, right? Job outlook is estimated to grow 32%, much faster than the average. Now, employment change, I think this is for career switch, uh, folks doing career switch, about 53,000, right? So you can get all these. We'll go to the site actually to where we got these from, and you'll be able to see that. So now we are going to look at cybersecurity career outlook in 2024. We've seen some statistics why you should get into cybersecurity, aside the big money, flexibility, good work-life balance. We've looked at some real statistics that if you are if you are researching and looking to switch into cybersecurity, then this is something to help with your research, and then also building yourself to eventually switch to security. Now let's look at the cybersecurity career outlook in 2024. So cybersecurity professionals, what do they do? We've looked at the definition of security, anything and everything that we do to protect people, processes, and technology within our organization, right? So cybersecurity professionals, they are the ones who are doing the protection. They are the ones who are coming up with a plan, the strategy of doing that, right? So they do cybersecurity professionals, they like their work span from coming up with strategy, plan, and actually doing the protection or actually doing the job. So it depends on where you sit or the role that you're going to be in. If it is managerial, if it is an implementer role, leadership role, everything we are doing is directed to the same goal. But where you sit is going to define what exactly you are going to be doing, right? So cybersecurity professionals might be doing different things. Different roles will demand you doing different things. But overall, we are trying to protect our company's assets in terms of people, processes, and technology from bad people who might want to steal or take advantage or use it for some malicious purposes. Right now, the outlook of the cybersecurity space now is that there is dangerous. So these are not my words. Dangerous shortage of cybersecurity workers in the United States and around the world, not just United States. Right. This is from a government agency that is saying this, and we are going to look at that here shortly. So from September 2022 through August 2023, for every 100 cybersecurity job openings, there were only about 72 cybersecurity workers available to fill those openings. Right? And the demand keeps going up, but the supply is low. And we are going to look at this in real time. We have a government-related site that tracks the demand for security professionals and all that in real time. So currently, I think there is almost 600,000 on-field cybersecurity jobs as of now, right? It went up a bit higher, and then I think it almost reached 700, and then it came down to 600, and now it's around like 572, and it keeps going up and down, but it's been around 500,000 on-field cybersecurity jobs since 2020, right? It went all the way up to almost 700, and then it stabilized and came down a little bit, but now it's still about 500,000 on-field cybersecurity jobs. And like what I was saying, it takes 21% longer in terms of time to fill cybersecurity jobs than other IT roles. That is why for most cybersecurity jobs, you go through at least 3 interviews before they finally bring you on board, right? So like I'm saying, it is very doable, but it's not easy. And if you look at the benefits and everything that you're going to get, getting into the cyberspace, it is worth your time and your efforts, right? So even though there is a lot of job openings out there, that also doesn't mean employers are handing out cybersecurity jobs like candy. So you have to prove that you have the knowledge and skill. You've worked on projects and you can actually, you have to convince them that you can do the job, right? So the jobs are there, but you have to work for it before they give you that chance, right? So, and also some myth, maybe we have to clear that before we move forward. You don't need to know coding. You don't need to have a degree in anything. If you have a degree, it's a plus, it's nice, but you don't need it. Caveat to that, some few jobs might say we need you to have a degree. That is like the determining factor. If you don't have a degree, then we don't even talk to you. And that is like less than 1% of all the jobs that are out there. Most employers are looking for somebody who can do the job, not who has PhD in everything in cybersecurity but can't do nothing. Right. So certifications are nice to have. Some jobs will require it. It's a hard requirement if you don't have it. But those jobs are very few. Right. Like we were asking last week's interview, Naomi, spoke to that. Somebody asked if during the interview they asked about her certification, and I think she said no, they didn't. Right. So certifications, they are nice they are nice to have. So don't get that wrong. You need to get some certification because the process of going through to get a certification improves or increases your knowledge base and your skill sets. Right? So, but that shouldn't be any negative factor moving into a cyber or applying to a cybersecurity job. Most people they'll look at so many jobs and I don't qualify for this. They just disqualify themselves, even though they are not the ones who are going to interview themselves. they disqualify themselves before they even apply, which is wrong. So that is why I'm going back and forth on this. So certificates, the certifications are nice to have, not necessarily a requirement. You are going to see them on different job descriptions. That's fine. Degree, not a requirement, uh, but you're going to see it on there as well, right? And then some people also think if you are not a citizen, you cannot do a cybersecurity job. That is also false, right? All you need a work authorization to be able to work in the United States and everywhere else that you want to work. You need work authorization, whether you are working remotely or you are working on site, in person. That is the law for most countries, right? If you have that, for most cybersecurity jobs, you are good to. And then what other myth is there? Maybe when we open the floor, a lot of you have other ones that you want to bring up. But likely for us tonight, we have a lot of cybersecurity professionals on this platform who came from nothing, right? So some in healthcare, in tracking different fields, and they came through, got trained, landed cybersecurity jobs. Some have been working for 2 years, 3 years, a year, right? So they are here. They can also speak to what we are discussing, right? But when we get there, we open the floor and they'll be able to speak. So if it's taking you a little bit longer to land a cybersecurity job than you did for your previous job or in your previous industry, this is why. The jobs are there, but then statistically it takes longer for cybersecurity roles to be filled than all IT roles, right? Or all other IT roles. So just to let you know, so this is preparing you if you are very new to cybersecurity for you to know what you are in for, right? Or what you are getting yourself into. So you don't get overly concerned if you are done with your training and you start applying and it's not going as you wish it to go, right? So now let's look at the knowledge and skill needed to get into cybersecurity in 2024, right? So cybersecurity professionals or people who want to get into cybersecurity, some of the skills, we are going to look at skills first, and then we'll jump into knowledge later on. So I talked to almost everybody, right? Everybody on here. So I know most of the concerns and most of the pushback that people have when it comes to switching careers to cybersecurity, right? So somebody will tell you, Dr. Edu, I have no experience whatsoever in cybersecurity. I mean, how am I going to get into this field where most job descriptions that I've seen, they are requiring you to have 3 years of experience, 4 years of experience, 5 years of experience. How do I go around that, right? Do I just lie on my resume and say I have 5 years of experience, even though I don't? And if they ask me to do the things I have done in the 5 years of experience and I'm not able to do it, then I'm not gonna get fired, right? And they get all, rallied up on that. And my answer to that is very simple. So one, you don't know what you don't know. And for you to come in with that mindset, totally understood, right? Totally understood. But we are going to debunk all that tonight, right? Everybody on here, whether you've worked in cybersecurity before or not, you are coming with at least 30% of the skills needed in cybersecurity. You just need somebody to point that out to you. So don't say I have no experience coming into it or I have no skills set coming into. So skills, experience, they kind of are tangled together, right? So the experience that they are looking for in cybersecurity, I'm not even going to say skills. The experience they are looking for, you probably have 30% of that without you taking any cybersecurity training or doing any cybersecurity anything. And we are going to break that down, as we move forward, right? So people who work within cybersecurity, mostly some of the attributes that you have to, come with, good instincts, paying attention to detail, right? Great communication skills, problem solving skills. All these are some of the vital elements you need in terms of traits to be able to function, and curiosity, right? You have to be very curious. You have to be a lifelong learner. You have to be somebody who is very trainable, who is ready to learn, right? So even though technology, we are going to be playing with technology in cybersecurity, Technology is just one aspect of it, right? I mentioned earlier on when we were defining cybersecurity that cybersecurity covers people, processes, and technology. So technology is one aspect of it. People and processes are also another aspect of it. So when it comes to experience and skills and knowledge, it covers everything also as well. Technology, people, processes, and yeah, so technology, people, and processes, right? So your experience working with people is easily transferable to any other field, right? And so everything that I say, I back it up with, you know, maybe facts, right? So we will call it, I mean, it's facts. So we will look at, as an example, we will look at some of the cybersecurity job descriptions for you to see the experience or the skills they are looking for, right? And then I'll make my case. So it's like I'm in court. I'm a lawyer trying to make my case. Right? So now, for cybersecurity professionals, information security professionals, our ultimate goal is to help reduce risks within our companies, right? And all sort of skill sets are needed. So what knowledge and skill we need, we are going to go to the books here shortly. So we need technical skills, soft skills, and transferable skills. Now, transferable skills can include your transferable skills based on your experience. If you're already in IT, then some of the technical skills from wherever you are is easily transferable. But almost all your soft skills are going to transfer, right? So if let's say you are a nurse and you've been a nurse for 10 years, you've worked in different nursing roles. So just being a nurse, let's say, we are not even going to consider your leadership and managerial aspect of what you do as a nurse here. But let's look at some of the soft skills that a nurse, should possess. So as a nurse, you have to uh, pay attention, have really good attention to detail skills. If not, you're probably going to give somebody a wrong medication at the wrong time. So great attention to detail. Uh, you have to, have great communication skills. When a patient comes in, their loved one, are overly concerned, and you have to break down medical terms that they probably don't know about and don't care. How do you break it down, grandpa style, for them to be able to understand? All that is a skill set that you're bringing. So great communication, oral and written, right? Empathy, being able to, and having that emotional intelligence, being able to, if somebody, their significant other or their kid is sick and, they are a bit, uh, like they are really, overly concerned and they are yelling and shouting at you as a nurse, you are not also going to yell and shout back. Right? You have that emotional intelligence to discern and understand that, okay, probably this is what is going on. So I have to, take the other route and calm them down. All those skill sets, it will amaze you, are needed in cybersecurity as well, and more, not just that. So if you're a nurse and you say, I have no IT background, zero, so, how am I going to do this? This is how I'm breaking it down for you to kind of start looking at it in a better way than probably you did. When it comes to the technical aspect, as a nurse, I cannot just call you and say, give me patient A's information over the phone, or even if I'm there in person. You're not going to give it to me. Why? Because you have that obligation of keeping your patient's data safe. And it's not just an obligation or something that is good to do, but you are bound by HIPAA to do that. You follow HIPAA by the word. And HIPAA is a framework in cybersecurity. So everything that you are doing in HIPAA, you are doing cybersecurity and you don't even. Right. So you see how we can easily pull some technical skills from your nursing space also as well, bringing it on here. So even though you are not the one implementing HIPAA or putting the structures in place, but you are following it and you are doing something related to HIPAA and HIPAA stuff. So all those, we can also easily transfer those skills, right? So when it comes to the skills or when it comes to experience, don't say you have nothing coming in. You have something. We just have to sit down and break it down to identify what you have and what you are bringing in. And then what you don't have, we work on it. right? So we have a tool that we are going to use to do that, help us identify the skill set that we have, and what we don't have, we are going to identify that and work on it. So let's jump into what we call the cybersecurity competency model. So for most folks who have taken our cybersecurity for beginners course, the free course, you've probably encountered this before. And then also for our entry-level students, this is one of the lessons that we go through in the entry-level course, right? So reason why we are going to go through the cybersecurity competency model is this. You know, Dr. Edu is speculating that we need soft skills and technical skills. So when they are talking about experience in cybersecurity, it's not just working in cybersecurity for 4 years, 5 years. My skills that I have coming from another field also applies. Maybe Dr. Edu is BSN, right? Let's go find out. So the Employment and Training Administration, which was not created by Dr. Edu, I don't even know where they are, right? But it's a government agency in the United States. They worked with the Department of Homeland Security and more than 200 federal departments and agencies, and who came together to form the National Initiative for Cybersecurity Education. We call them NICE. They developed a comprehensive competency model for the cybersecurity workforce. Right. So technical and subject matter experts from education, business, and the cybersecurity industry all contributed to this model's development. Now, the cybersecurity competency model defines, keyword, the latest skill and knowledge requirements, needed by individuals whose activities impact the security of their organization's cyberspace. So you have the background to cybersecurity competency model. So now let's look at the actual model and see what is in there. So this is the cybersecurity competency model that was created by everybody who is somebody within the cyberspace, including the government, the corporate side, academia. They all came together to make this. Now, what this whole competency model just simply is trying to do is to categorize the knowledge and skill you need to be able to work, or to categorize the knowledge and skill cybersecurity professionals are supposed to have, right? So they've done the hard work. We just have to go through and identify where we are, right? So this model, they've categorized the knowledge and skill into 5 main tiers. They have tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, up to tier 5. Now, tier 1, let's look at what tier 1 covers. So tier 1 covers personal effectiveness competencies, right? So which covers interpersonal skills, integrity, professionalism, initiative, flexibility, lifelong learner. All these are skill sets that you need within as a cybersecurity professional. And it's not me saying it. Now, tier 2, academic competencies. So you should be able to read and write, right? Do some math. I mean, you are not going to do math in cybersecurity necessarily. So don't get scared on that one, right? Communication, critical thinking, and fundamental IT user skills. So you should be able to join meetings like Zoom. You should be able to use Slack, use a smartphone, use a computer. That is what we are talking about, fundamental IT user skills. This is tier 2. Now, tier 3 is workplace competencies. So how well you function in the workplace. Teamwork, planning and organization, creative thinking, problem solving and decision making, working with tools and technology, business fundamentals, health and safety. So we are looking at the skills and knowledge, which overall kind of forms your as that forms like the basis or the foundation for your experience in security. And so far, we've looked at 3 of the tiers when it comes to the competency model. And we are going to look at 4. So tier 4, we are looking at industry-wide technical competencies. So your cybersecurity technology, information assurance, risk management, incident detection, incident response and remediation, right? So everything technical knowledge is tier 4. Now, tier 5, we are looking at industry sector functional areas, which we are also going to look into more. So cybersecurity is divided into 7 main functional areas, and these are the functional areas being talked about in tier 5. So if you look at tier 1 to 5, tier 1 to 3 talks about soft skills, purely soft skills. So that is talking about you as a person, right? So these tier 1 to 3, the knowledge and skill you need for tier 1 to 3 doesn't have to come only from you working in cybersecurity. If you've worked elsewhere, you've had training somewhere else, and you have all these already, and if we are grading to tier 1 to 5 to be 100%, so 1 to 3, you're almost like what, 70% there, right? Now, tier 4 and tier 5, we have to work on. So that is where you are going to acquire the cybersecurity knowledge and skill, the technical knowledge and skill. If you don't have any, then you are going to, mix that with tier 3, 2, and 1, and you should be good. So coming into cybersecurity, you have something already. And this is not me saying it. I mean, I started with my speculation, and now I have backed it with something, right? So that is you, and everybody can take a look at this. Go to what is the agency again? ETA. If you go to their website, you'll see this. We also look at that. We actually go to all these sites and all these government agencies that are like the sources for this information. So we are going to look at that. Please unmute yourself. Somebody keeps unmuting themselves. So let's move on. Now, for the cybersecurity competency model that we looked at, they have some worksheets that are very useful. We are going to look at them as well. So the worksheet goes through all the tiers, and you can check off the skill sets and the knowledge that you have and what you don't have. So after you've done that, you can do gap analysis, and you know what you are missing and what to work on, right? So we are going to look at that, and probably maybe drop that in the chat so everybody can download that and start working on that whilst you are preparing to switch into cybersecurity, or even if you are already in the industry to polish up your skill sets. So let's look at some of the career paths in cybersecurity. Right. Please give me a minute. So now we've looked at the skills, knowledge that you need. Now, which path do you take in cybersecurity? Now, before we get into the actual presentation, what I want to let everybody know, or what I want to tell everybody on here is, if you are looking to switch into cybersecurity, if anybody is telling you to specialize in anything, that is, I'm not going to say that is a myth, but that is not going to help you in any shape or form, right? You cannot specialize in something that you have no foundation in. So it's like if we are going to build a story building, but you're like, you know what, forget about the foundation and the first and second floor. Just build me the fifth floor. I'm going to live in the fifth floor in the middle of the air with nothing supporting it. How well is that going to, work out? So when you are starting off in security, you have to make sure you have a good foundation in all, we call it good working knowledge in all the functional areas of cybersecurity. Please unmute yourselves. Okay, please give me a minute. Yes, so everybody has been muted. So some folks are of the view there is an easy path into cybersecurity. So especially they will call out GRC. I mean, I just want to get something in GRC and just get on the job. Well, I mean, you can fall through the cracks and get a job with almost no technical knowledge or anything. Just wing it and get in there. Some people are able to do that, right? Now, whom are you deceiving? there you are every day. Your heart is beating like your heart is going to come out of your chest because you don't know what you are doing and what is going on, right? So if there are meetings, you are dreading to even go to these meetings because any little thing, any kindergarten question they ask you becomes a huge mountain for you because you don't have the understanding and the know-how of what you are doing. You are able to just talk your way through and somebody, liked you and they probably thought you knew what you're talking about. That is not a position that you want to find yourself. If you want to grow and if you want to make this a career, right? It's like I didn't go to nursing school. I skipped first, second year, and then I'm smart. So I wrote the final year exams, I passed, and then I wrote state board, I passed, and then I go to a hospital and I'm a nurse. How comfortable are you going to be like doing this nurse job, right? Because all basic and fundamental things that all nurses know, you don't. And if they mention it and you are like, yeah, yeah, and they're all looking at you like, he really don't know, does he? Right? Or you make some like you do some certain or some silly mistakes, and they are wondering where you went to your nursing school, right? So all that I'm saying is have a strong foundation in all working areas of cybersecurity, i.e., you have to have a good working knowledge of networking, identity and access management, cryptography, cybersecurity architecture and design, name it, we can go down the list, right? So if you have no background and I tell you, hey, come on, we are going to put you in, teach you only HIPAA or teach you just third-party risk management, you'll be good. You'll find a job. These are the interview questions. And some people even go to the extent of, I don't know what they are thinking. No, somebody will do the interview for me. What? And then that somebody is going to do the job for you, or you are going to do the job. Then you might as well just go get a surgeon job and have somebody interview for you. And when you are done and you get a job, you will go do the job. Good luck doing surgeries, right? So if you take your time, you want to make this a career and really flourish, make a lot of money out of it, it takes time to build a strong foundation. And the time that I'm talking about is not 4 years of college or 2 years of college. None of that. It will take you at most a year. And if you look at the money and the hours you're going to put in for that 1 year and what you're going to get out of it, like that 1 year really doesn't even come close to what you're going to get out of it. Most people on here will attest to that, right? So I'm just letting you know if anybody is trying to sell you anything for you to specialize in this area and you're going to be an authority in it, even though you don't have any background in cybersecurity or IT for that matter, then you have to probably look at it twice because at the end of the day, how effective are you going to be? And then one thing that most people also probably don't know is in cybersecurity, everything overlaps into everything, right? So let me give you an example. I don't want a technical area of cybersecurity. And most people, technical, they are referring to coding. And yeah, I mean, you don't want coding. I get it. But everything else in cybersecurity is technical, right? I can ask you right now, what is, let's say, principle of least privilege? It's a technical term in cybersecurity. It is not coding, but if you're not in security, you won't understand it, right? So we have to get out of that mindset of coding is the only technical. I mean, everything is technical. So you have to know everything, right? You are not going to know everything, but you have to have a good working knowledge of all major areas. So the example that I was going to give. Now I just want to get into the easy part, just get a job, and because I'm just only after the money. Uh, I really care less about the job. So somebody told me GRC is the easiest way. So maybe I'll go learn RMF, right? I just RMF and nothing else. I have nothing, no background in cyber, in networking, nothing, identity and access management. I don't understand any of those. I'm just winging it. Or maybe better still, I go do third-party risk management. Just that. And then, I get a resume, I get prep, I'm able to talk well. I have almost all the questions. Somebody did an interview, Similar questions is what I had. So I passed and I got on the job. So, okay, fine. Now, as part of your job as a third-party risk analyst, you have to review audit reports. You have to review penetration testing reports. You have to look at vulnerability scans and the rest. Now they bring you an audit report, maybe a SOC 2 audit report. There is this whole, lengthy report and then some recommendation for areas that they failed and they have to, work on it. Now they give that to you and you look at it. Or a company gives you their report, let's say for PCI, their report on compliance. And they say they are good. You are just going to look at it and say they are good and move on. Or let's say they fail. So which area did they fail? When you go through, guess what? That report covers all areas of cybersecurity. It covers identity and access management, cryptography. And there you are looking at their scan and it looks like Greek to you if you don't understand Greek, right? You have no clue what you are looking at. So are you going to say they are good and move them on, or what are you going to do? And you cannot Google it. You cannot Google their reports as that report and have somebody explain that to you. You cannot find that on YouTube. But if you have the knowledge, good working knowledge, you don't have to be an expert in it, but you can look at it and it will make sense, right? So that is the point that I'm trying to make. Don't try and take any shortcuts, right? There is nothing like the easiest way. Every path you take is going to be hard. That what I can assure is it is doable. It's not going to be easy, but it's doable. Very, very doable. So let's get out of that mindset. Right now, for looking at the career paths, so another government agency, NICE, we kind of looked at them before we moved on. NICE was put in place by the government, the United States government, federal government, to come up with a really good structure when it comes to cybersecurity workforce, right? Because prior to this, I think they came up with this 2012 thereabout, but they started the whole project 2010. Prior to this, cybersecurity was just cybersecurity. Everybody was doing something. So this is a security analyst here. This person is doing that role. There wasn't any set structure in terms of these are all the areas of cybersecurity, right? So you can work in this area, work in that area, and these are the skills you need for this area, and these are the job titles within this area. There was nothing like that until the government put in place NICE, and NICE came up with the workforce framework. So there are a lot of frameworks that we use in cybersecurity, PCI, HIPAA, SOC 2, and the rest. Now there's one for career, cybersecurity career. So if you are not aware of this, now you know today, right? You can dig, it's a whole document. I think it's NIST 800-181, if my memory serves me right. If not, don't say I said that. But just go search for NICE cybersecurity workforce framework. You'll find it. It's a NIST publication. Very easy to read document, and it breaks down cybersecurity really well for you to understand the different areas and what every area covers and all that. Right. So for a career path, before we started getting into this, so career path, I took almost like some 5 minutes and talked about not starting off, not focusing on specializing in anything. Right. So then somebody, but I'm just going to be a generalist, then I'm not really no, you are going to have a good working knowledge and you can function in all areas. So example, for all our students who go through our cybersecurity entry-level course, they don't specialize in an area. You are starting off, you don't know security that well. So how are you going to specialize in anything? They start off, we take them through all the areas of cybersecurity they need a good working knowledge of. So example, like networking and the rest, the security aspect of it. So they have a very, good working knowledge. They are not experts in it, but they have a very good working knowledge. Now they move on into the internship. And with the internship, we work on 10 different projects. So they have exposure working on third-party risk management projects, incident response, risk assessments, and the rest. So when they are applying for jobs, they can work in any of these areas. And true to that, Most of the students who get out, some are working as GRC analysts, some are working as third-party risk management analysts, some are working as cybersecurity analysts, and they're able to function because they have a good working knowledge and they understand what is going on. Right now, moving forward, when they want to, rise up in their career, they can choose to go. Maybe probably now I'm just going to specialize really well in third-party risk management. That is all that I'm going to focus on. They have that luxury of doing that because one, they have a very solid foundation. Two, they have that working experience and exposure, right? So some are working as GRC specialists, GRC managers. If that is the area they want to focus on now, they can do that because they have a very solid foundation. But coming just right, if anybody tells you to go specialize in anything, what foundation are you specializing on? You don't have any foundation, so like, how are you going to specialize in anything? Right? Like some example that I use every time, and people will be, for people find it funny. So it's like, Dr. Edu, uh, I don't want to go to medical school, but I just want to go to the surgeon school to become a surgeon. And then, I will go and pass. But if anything happens in the hospital, don't call me. I'm only a surgeon. Right? A patient just collapsed in front of me. I mean, what do I know? It's not time for surgery. No, you are a doctor first, right? You have to be a doctor first to be able to build up on that, right? So I don't know, folks who are selling whatever they are selling, if they okay, come just do this course for. So and also caveat to that. Let's say you want to focus on PCI, right? I have no cybersecurity experience. I want to go for PCI. So our path for you will be to go through entry level and then jump onto PCI. Because at that point, you have, after completing entry level, you have a very solid foundation. So you can jump into PCI. But with zero, just jumping into it, we will advise you against that. But if you choose to go that route, then fine. There are some folks, we will tell them, hey, we want you to go this way. But they are like, I still think I can do it, right? I can learn French and learn engineering in French at the same time. Some people are superheroes. So more power to you if you want to go that route, right? But ideally, it's a lot of work just getting a very, good working knowledge in all areas to be able to understand what is going on and function as a security professional. On top of that, learning something else that is a specialized area will be a bit harder, but some people are able to pull it off. Don't get that wrong. So let's look at the next framework. So this framework is supposed to guide employers, is supposed to guide academia, right? Schools, is supposed to guide people who are looking for cybersecurity jobs. And this is how it is supposed to guide everybody. We are going to look at the, we will look at the diagram here shortly. Now, the NIST, the NIST framework, right? Because NIST is under NICE is under NIST. So the NICE framework, it's comprised of the following components, right? The 7 categories of cybersecurity. So they did a research. They've categorized everything that we do into cybersecurity into 7 main, areas that they call categories. And under those 7 categories, they've broken it down where they have specialty areas, and they have 33 of those. And under the 33 specialty areas, all the job titles that security analyst, security GRC specialist, and the rest, they've also, come up with a broader umbrella for all of them. And those, we call it work roles. So those job titles, we've categorized them into 52 main job titles, under which different varieties will come up, right? We have 52 of those also as well, right? And under those job titles, we have the knowledge and skill and abilities you need to be able to function or perform those, activities within those job roles, right? So this is something that you can research in, to, even if you're in the industry already, to really broaden your perspective on which areas you want to specialize in. And if you are starting off, to know what is out there, right? So when you get your foot into the door, obviously you know where you are going eventually, right? So for this is like the diagram for the workforce framework, and I want everybody to dig more into this. right? So the categorization, the 7 main categories of cybersecurity as it stands today is analyze, collect and operate, investigate, operate and maintain, oversee and govern, protect and defend, securely provision, right? These are the 7 main categories. Now, the specialty areas, we can get into those also as well. That this can be a full cyber chat on its own, right? So we are just going to touch on them. I encourage everybody to dig more into this, right? Now, for the work roles and the knowledge and skill and abilities that comes with it, when you look at this diagram, so see how they are all connected. So out of the categories, we have your specialty areas, right? And then out of the specialty areas, we have job titles under those specialty areas. And for those job titles, we have one, tax. So activities that you have to do for those job titles, they are listed here. And the knowledge and skill that comes with the knowledge and skill and abilities you need to be able to perform these tasks, right? So it breaks it down, makes it very easy and simple. Now, how is this supposed to help anybody? Right. Well, Dr. D, you're talking about all this, but I just want the cybersecurity job. How is all these complex school stuff going to help me? Now, let me break it down here. So this is meant to be used by employers, folks looking for jobs, and academia, right? So schools who are coming up with cybersecurity training, we are all supposed to use this. Eretmis uses this. So now this serves as a guide, right? It comes all the way down to the most important, all the way down to the tasks you are going to perform in different job titles and the knowledge and skill and abilities you need to perform those tasks, right? If not for anything, just focus on these areas, this here, right? If you are looking for a job, this is where you are going to be, right? Now, if I'm an employer and I want somebody to help me with cybersecurity stuff, how do I know who and what the person is going to do? Right? I can look at the broad categorization. Okay, investigate covers what? So although this diagram doesn't break it all down, if you go to the actual document, investigate, it explains what area of cybersecurity falls under investigate, right? Explains what area falls under analyze, right? So based on that, okay, then I'm going to dig in further. What is the specialty area that I'm looking at? So based on that, I can use this to come up with job description for the job title that I'm looking for, right? If I don't know what, so this is what recruiters and HR are supposed to use, but mostly they just do copy and paste from other people's, that is how you are going to see an entry-level cybersecurity job, and the requirement in there is 8 years of experience. Like, what? Do they even understand what entry-level means? They just copied and pasted somebody else's job description, and they changed and put entry level in the title. They forgot to change the 8 years. That is how you run into stuff like that. But they are supposed to actually do the legwork of going through and identifying the knowledge and skill that they are going to put on their job description using this tool, right? And for educators and schools, they are supposed to also use this, because if I'm training people, what am I training them on? What am I training them to do? Right. So, for example, like Eretmis, our entry-level course, what is it training you to do? What job roles can you hold? We got that from here. So we know the knowledge and skill we need to give you to be able to function in that role. And then also the tax. So the internship is informed by the projects you are working on. These are what informed everything for what we built, right, for the program. So you see how it worked for school, for people looking for a job, and then employers looking for cybersecurity professionals. Now you can dig more into this. It's a very good tool. So, okay, we are going to look at required training and experience. That is also a big portion of everything in terms of breaking into cybersecurity. So for training, education, and experience, we are looking at formal education. So college plays a big role. So you can decide to go to college, get a degree in cybersecurity. Uh, that is one way to get in. You can decide to take online courses, take a boot camp, go to non-traditional schools like Eretmis Academy. That is also another way to get in. You can do self-study, another way to some of the pros and cons here. And then for experience, it comes with internship and apprenticeship, right? You can study, but if you don't do studying and doing, they are two different things. Your doing is going to be informed by your studies, but if you don't do and you study, you can study all you want. You've not done it, right? And when it comes to speaking to it, it's not the same. So when you do it, you run into problems, into issues, you learn more, right? So internship, apprenticeship, and then we have certifications that comes with, do you need a degree? Do you need a certification? What types of certification do you need? And then also practical experience working on projects, which mostly fall under internship and apprenticeship. So for formal education, college, if you have, maybe you are looking to switch and you are not in a rush, you have the money and the time, you can do 4 years of college, right? Go through, get your degree, a master's, right? But then once you are done, you still need to have some doing. So in college, if they are going to pair you with some company for you to do internship or anything that will help you with the doing aspect of it, also you have to look for that also elsewhere, right? If they are not providing you that. Now with boot camps and online courses, still the same. So for boot camps and online courses, boot camps normally take anywhere 6 to 12 months, right? Uh, it's not as costly as college, but you're not going to get a degree of any sort. Once you are done, you're going to get a certificate of completion. But then mostly for most boot camps, you are going to learn only cybersecurity. You're not going to learn history and everything else that you don't need for cybersecurity in addition to that, right? Like the traditional school. And it doesn't take that long, and you are not going to spend as much, right? So you can look at that option as well. Now, self-study is the cheapest among all of these, but it can also be very expensive, and it can be very frustrating as well, because getting into cybersecurity from a different field, you don't know what you don't know. So some path that you think you are going on, you don't know when you have arrived or when you didn't arrive, or eventually, if you don't have any guidance or anybody to look up to guide you, self-study, you'll be going in circles, running in circles the whole time, right? So, uh, but self-study, you can literally just buy a book for 30 bucks, 40 bucks, learn it, buy some test questions, practice, and go sit for Security Plus and pass, go sit for this certification. You can get a lot of certifications through self-study, right? But still, at the end of the day, you don't know what you don't know, right? So if you don't get the right guidance, even with self-study, uh, it can get frustrating sometimes. So, but some people still will love to go that route. Now, internship and apprenticeships, there are internship and apprenticeships programs around. I think for we have a meeting with New York, is it Labor Department? They are talking to us about an apprenticeship program that they are running. If you want to be part of it, so we'll see how that goes. But apprenticeship programs and internship, like the ones Eretmis offers, cybersecurity internship and PCI internships, those will help you to work on projects, right? And so your practical experience will come from projects like that. And if you work on a variety of projects, on during interviews, you're able to speak to things that you've done, not things that you just studied. Or so uh, look for, if you are trying to, you go through any of these, either self-study, bootcamp, formal education, still get some internship or apprenticeship program, and to be able to work on projects and actually, get your hands dirty, right? That is really going to help breaking into security 2024, because employers are looking for somebody who has done, worked on a project or has done something. And that is going to show in what you say. So the funny part is, most often during interviews, they're not going to have you do anything. Most interviews, they are just going to pick your brain on, okay, how do you do this? What about that? Do you do this? Have you done this before? Are you exposed to this? Do you know this too? If you've actually done it, it's easy for you to answer all those questions and they cannot surprise you, right? But if you've not done it and Dr. Edu told you and you just memorize what I told you and you are reciting it, if they ask you something off script, then you are caught off guard, right? So you don't want to do that. You have to actually do it. You wouldn't be able to do all the projects in security, but at least you can do some of the major ones like we do in the cybersecurity and level course. And then for certifications, if you are starting off mostly Security Plus, everybody will tell you is a good place to start. And then, as you are moving along, you can add more certifications to it. Mostly what you don't want to do is to stack up certifications and just get ahead of yourself, right? So don't be in a rush to get so many certifications and you don't even have the knowledge and skill to back it up because you are the certification, not a piece of paper you are holding. So if you tell me you have Security Plus and I ask you a Security Plus question and it's not even a practical question and you are fumbling and okay, it's because I don't have working experience. No, I'm not asking you for is knowledge. You don't have the knowledge, not working experience, right? So make sure if you have the certification, you have the knowledge and skill to back it up. Because if during interviews you have Security Plus, CISSP, CISA on your resume, you actually sat for the exams you passed, and they're asking you simple security questions and you're all over the place, then you look like, how did this person get these certifications, right? So you have to make sure you are not getting way ahead of yourself. So I think we are at a good stopping point. We are going to look at the tools that, and some of the evidence that we just discussed. So those are going to be on the web. So we are going to exit off here, and then we will look at those tools. One that we are going to use for gap assessment, to analyze our skill sets that we are bringing to the table from based on the cybersecurity competency model we are going to be looking at here shortly. So just to reiterate, our WhatsApp group, we will post the link. Everybody can have access to that and join the WhatsApp group. And then also our YouTube channel, please do subscribe. For folks looking to switch our cybersecurity and level course, you can join that also as well. But please go ahead and sign up for our free course first, Cybersecurity for Beginners on Eretmis Academy. And then also for our PCI class, we have a new cohort that will be starting pretty soon. All that information will be pushed out. And then also for our internship, cybersecurity internship, all interns we are meeting tomorrow, and that our new cohort will also be starting pretty soon as well, right? So this is information about Eretmis Academy. We are going to exit out of the presentation and go into the tools that we are going to look at and the evidence that we are talking about. So please hold your questions. We will wrap up pretty shortly and everybody will have the floor. All right, so we are going to start with uh, cyberseek.org, right? But before then, let's go from the international stage and then we come down to the United States, right? So this is a similar tool like cyberseek.org for the United States, but this is for, I think, Australia, right? This is Australia's, how Australia tracks their cybersecurity professionals within their country, right? But they have an international and historical supply and demand for cybersecurity. So that is what we are going to be looking at. Is international. After that, I mean, we are in the States, so we will look at the one for the States. So this is job openings as per this, and this website is also, I think, is their government website, right? A government agency website that tracks cybersecurity job openings and demand and supply in real time, right? So for job openings in cybersecurity, in Australia, in UK, in US, this is for in Australia for 2019, it was 9,000. 2020, it dropped down to 8,000. For 2021, it went to 15,000, and 2022, it came to 13,000. Right? So still high for Australian numbers. For UK, 2019 is 66,000, 97, almost 80,000, almost 122, and then now 2022, it went up to 150. So you can see for the demand, it is going up for the most part, right? For Australia, it was going up and down, but at least from 2019 to 2022, we can see it as there is some growth, right? Now for US for 2019, 559 on-field cybersecurity jobs or job openings. 2020, 526. 2021, 632. 2022, it went all the way up to 755, and now it's back down to almost 600 thereabout, right? So, and it is going to continue going up. So even if it drops down to 700 to 400,000, 400,000 on-field jobs, that is still a lot of on-field jobs, and the number is only going to keep going up, right? So for the supply and demand, I think for this tool, there is really not much leverage. I think for the supply and demand, I think like the US site does a better job. So we are going to go to that one, right? So we are going to go to cyberseek.org. And for everybody who's taking any of the cybersecurity for beginners, we use this and we talked about this. So you should know this already. Now, Cyberseek, if you've never been to this website, please do. It is a very good tool for you to learn about some of the cybersecurity fundamentals, right? So they have two major tools or two items that, so they are heat map and the career path option. So we can look at the career path option first, and then we will come back to the heat map. So for the career path, they have different, the entry role, mid-level role, and advanced role. And then they have feeder roles. So roles that you can easily jump from into cybersecurity, right? This is not to say, and this is just IT roles. And so if you are still outside IT, you can easily jump. Not super easy. And it's not like it's easy for IT folks either. But if you're in IT, you're in IT. So, it's going to be a bit easier for somebody in networking to jump into security than somebody who is a nurse, obviously. So for some of these roles, when you touch it, it gives you the job openings and the amount or the average salary, right? So for entry role, this is not Dr. Edu saying, right? This is a website that is backed by not just the government, but also by industries like industry players like CompTIA, ISE Square, and the rest, and some of the big companies out there, right? So, and this is based on statistics and research that they continuously are doing. So for a cybersecurity specialist, the salary here, average salary is 92,000. For cybercrime analyst is 101. For incident response, 97. For IT auditor, starting off entry is 98, right? And these are just average numbers. I mean, I know roughly average, and we looked at the statistics from the Bureau, the U.S. Bureau, the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, right? They said the median is 112. So for Eretmis, for all our students from entry level, the minimum salary we've had so far is 100, right? 100. So going up, we've had, for advanced courses like PCI and the rest, we've had something in the 200s and the rest. But everything ranges from, for entry level is 100 to 150. So far, the highest from entry level is 150, right? So these numbers I can attest to them. They are on the same, roughly on the same path. Now, when you go to the mid level and when you touch it, you see it gives you some arrows. So this shows you that you can move from these roles to these roles in the mid level. Now, these are not by any means all the roles or all the job titles in the entry level of cybersecurity, right? They just picked some. They can't put all of it on there. So it's supposed to help to serve as like a starting point, not all of it. So the roles that you can, or the only roles you can do in the entry level is these four, is like that is not it, right? There is more to it. Now, cybersecurity analyst, mid-level 107. For cybersecurity consultant, 118. For penetration tester is 124. Now, these are mid-level. So mostly is the mid-level that you are looking to specialize, right? The entry level, you should be able to work here, work there, work there, work there, because you have a very good foundation, and you with some little orientation, you should be able to function in these areas. Because everything that we are doing in all these areas, if you understand security well, overall, you see that the goal is the same. Some of the big changes will be moving from the blue side to the red side, right? So if you're on the blue side doing analyst, incident response stuff, and now you want to switch, like you want to switch to become a penetration tester, you need additional training, additional skill sets, right? Because that is on the red side. Aside that, everything on the blue side, if you have a very good foundation, you can move from, one spot to the other. And then also, somebody who is a cybersecurity specialist here in company A, they will be doing something totally different from somebody who is a cybersecurity specialist in company C, right? But they have the same job title. So that is the more reason why you need to have a very solid understanding of security and have a good working knowledge of security itself, not just memorize some stuff and wing it and use that to get in, because when you wing it in, they're going to wing you out eventually. Okay, so for advanced security manager, 150, 131. So for if you've been hearing all these crazy numbers, 147 in security, and you are new to the cybersecurity space, this is not Dr. Edu saying it. This is from like a government website tracking this in real time. And also for our students, there are a lot of them are on here. They can witness and say, oh yeah, of course I'm getting more than this. For a security manager, this is not even close, right? Now we can, for this tool, you also have the skills and certifications, right? We can check that also out. So certifications and tools, we have top certifications on here, job titles, and these are by no means all of it still. And then top skills that you need also by no means all of it, right? So once you click on one or you put your mouse on one, it kind of dims and highlights everything that you can get with that certification, right? So for CISSP, you can even get IT auditor. I don't know why it's like higher, but for CISSP, these are the ones that this tool is telling you can get, but you can get way more than that, right? So, and it's not the certification that is going to get you the job necessarily, it's the knowledge and skill that you are bringing to the table. So this is to expose you to this. And then also for training, if you are looking for training providers and companies out there, you can, this is a good place to check. And I think last time we checked, Eretmis was on here. Let's check again. All right, so Eretmis is still on here, right? In New York. So you can, we are also listed on the CyberSeek website, which is pretty cool. All right, so enough of this site. We are going to go to the interactive map. So for the interactive map, what it does is it tracks the cybersecurity job openings within your state. And you can even narrow it down to metro area, right? So if we look at Maine, there is 2,500 cybersecurity jobs there currently open. Vermont, 2,000 all the way. So you just have to put it on there and it shows. I think for Virginia area, there's a lot. There's obviously 58,000 and 31,000. So this is not to say you have to move to Virginia to get a cybersecurity job, right? Most of these jobs are remote also, so you can be here and work there, right? So that is also possible. Now, for the ones that are hybrid, obviously you have to be in the state or close to the vicinity of the job. And this is current, this is very current up to 2024, 2024. So it is very current. Now, and it has color coding. So if it is really dark, it means there's a lot of cybersecurity jobs there, obviously. So like in Florida, 30,000, in Texas, 46,000. So, and then when we come to metro areas, even within the states, it breaks it down to which areas or little cities that has more jobs than the other. So this is a very good research tool for you to, when you are looking for jobs, for you to research. So looking to get into cybersecurity, you have to know where to look, right? So when you go to maybe Indeed and you're searching for cybersecurity jobs, right, you can also narrow it down to your metro area and specific areas, and it will bring more jobs from there as well. So hopefully that helps. Now, when you scroll down here, this is where it gives you the cybersecurity job openings in real time, right? So the number, it dropped from 600 something change to 579,000, which is still a lot of jobs, right? Now, and then on here, these are the number of cybersecurity professionals employed in the US as of now, 1,178,000, right? Total employed cybersecurity workforce. This is it, 1 million, and we still have over 500,000 open cybersecurity jobs out there, right? Now, supply and demand is 72% national average. Now, let's look at the specific statistics for historic cybersecurity job openings in the US from 2010. It's been rising all the way up to 2014, 74% rise from 2010, 70. So when we're talking about like you are looking for a career field that has, really good growth, we can see that from here, right? And historical employed cybersecurity workforce is also increasing as well, right? Increasing, keeps increasing. Now, historical demand, supply and demand for cybersecurity since 2010, demand is up and supply is low. That is why you have the map going that way, right? So you can get enough. I mean, when you go to this website, you can take your time and also play around. Now, for the job openings that we have for the 500 and something, they've also broken it down into the 7 main categories of cybersecurity that we looked at. So operate and maintain, oversee and govern, collect and operate, securely provision, and the rest. So we have almost 300 and something within this space. So you can look at it this way. Maybe there's more jobs in this space, so I'll want to target job titles within this space. Or, within mostly the investigate has less jobs or so less competition, if you want to look at it that way. So I'll target those areas as well. And then also for certifications, it tells you certification holders so far. So for Security Plus, there's almost 265,000 people with Security Plus in the US. For CISSP, 91,000. For Global Information Assurance Certificate, 64, and the list goes on, right? And these are not by any means all the certifications that are out there. And then you can also do openings requesting. So job openings requesting these certifications. You can also, look at it and use that also to inform your decision on which, specific job roles maybe you want to apply to. Now, with that out of the way, we are going to move into, so we've looked at the demand and we've looked at some of the feed, like the roles, entry level, and the salary and all that. We are going to look at the Bureau of Labor Statistics. So the information that I was given is from the government website or the government agency website. And you can come here and look at this information and search for it. And they have like a handbook and all that that you can go through, right? So you can go to the US Bureau of Labor Statistics and get that information. And then we are going to move into the NICE framework. The website is also under CISA, right? The NICE framework is under CISA. And then they also have the National Initiative for Cybersecurity Careers and Studies. right? When you come here, you can learn a lot about cybersecurity careers, and education and training and all that. So this is also the source for the nice framework, right? So this is the categories of cybersecurity, right? If you click on this, it breaks it down, gives you like the specialty areas. And then when you click on the specialty areas, it takes you to, like, it even breaks it down further, right? So now these are the abilities that you need within this field. So ability to communicate complex information, concepts, ideas, in a confident and well-organized manner through written or verbal communication means. Okay, so I mean the list goes on, right? Now when it comes to knowledge, if you click on this, so knowledge of computer networking concepts, protocols, and networking security methods, knowledge of laws, regulations, policies, ethics as related to cybersecurity policy. So a whole list of it, right? If we go to skill in assessing or estimating effects generated during and after cyber operations, and you can go down the whole list of skills, right? And then tax. So within that role, where is the role? So for this is all source analyst, right? This is the work role that I was talking about. So one of the big categories of job titles. Under that, what are you supposed to do for tax? What do they do? So for tax, perform file signature analysis, perform real-time forensics, requests, answer requests for information. So a whole list of. So you are not going to do all of this. You're going to do some of it, right? So at least you should know, and then the skills and knowledge that you need to do it has also been listed. So this is a very good tool, right? It really helps, gives you a lot of insights and capability indicators also. You can also use this. So this will let you know entry level what you need, uh, intermediate level what you need, advanced level within that same role what you need, right? So a really good tool that everybody can, get on this website, and all these tools are free, right? But if you don't know what you don't know, like I always keep saying. So Dr. Edo has shown you, please take this as the baton and run with it, right? So with that, I think, okay, so same thing is what we have on here. And for, okay, so now we are going to move into the competency model that we just talked about. So for the competency model, it's not Dr. Edu BSN. This is also Career One Stop is under a government agency, which is under, they have like all these agencies intertwined under agencies under agencies. This is the cybersecurity competency model, right? So this is not Dr. Edu's making. It is something that they actually did research and came up with. So if I'm telling you soft skills are also needed, they are equally important. I'm not just trying to sell you anything. It's the truth. And for most of our students who, interviews that they almost got but didn't make it, mostly is the soft skills that will get you, not your technical skills, right? You are all fired up for a cybersecurity interview, and I mean, you've gone through first stage, second stage, and the last stage is the soft skills. You are going to meet a CISO or somebody, and they are asking you questions like, so if Sheila is not playing her role in your team, what are you going to do about it? That is those questions are the ones that are going to make or make you, right? And you might think, oh, but it's not the cybersecurity question. It is, because soft skills are also needed in cybersecurity, not just your technical skills. They will rather have somebody with 30% of technical skills and a really good, 70% of soft skills than somebody with 80% of technical skills and 5% of soft skills. Because at that point, then nobody can work with you, right? You are going to be a bad fit for their culture, right? So we have to balance the two. And for soft skills, you are bringing them from anywhere that you are coming from. So with this, we are going to look at gap analysis. That is the last item we will look at, and we'll wrap up for tonight. So hopefully everybody is learning something from this. All right, so let's pull up our gap analysis tool here, and we will wrap up here shortly. Okay, so this gap analysis is also from the cybersecurity competency model. The smart people who came up with the competency model, they also came up with these uh, tools that we can use to analyze ourselves and identify where we sit when it comes to the cybersecurity knowledge, the cybersecurity competencies that we need to be able to function, right? They have a similar tool for employers and a similar tool for educators also as well. So they have tier one. You are going to go down the list of tier one. If you have it, you select achieve. If you don't have it, needs improvement, or you are going to work on it. You can go down this list and it will help you to identify exactly what they are looking for, right? And what you have and what you don't have. So I'm not sure if we can drop this in the chat and you can download it, or you can go to the competency cybersecurity competency models website and download it from there as well, right? So this is a very simple tool for you to go through and use. So you use this to do gap analysis. It's like you are doing an audit on yourself, not an audit on a company, but an audit on your own skill sets, right? So take time and go through and be honest, go through and identify. So then you come up with a game plan of how you are going to fix the gaps that you are going to identify, which are the like the skill set that you don't have now, right? So how are you going to go about bridging that gap, getting those skills to be able to get into cybersecurity or move up the ladder in cybersecurity? So with that, we are wrapping up, and I know there is a lot in the chat. If there are any questions, you can please, or you have some contribution, you can raise your virtual hand. We will give you the floor and you will be able to ask your question or give your contribution. So please, the floor is open. You can go ahead. And as Michael on here, I'm going to have Michael regulate that. I think I've seen Michael. Yeah, so if there are any questions, you can please go ahead. And then also in the chat, if Michael can go through the chat for us real quick, if there are some questions in there.
Yeah, I'm going through the chats right now, trying to see. Someone is asking, how do they get a gap analysis? I don't know if you went through that already.
Yeah, so that is what we just looked at.
Okay. Someone is asking, this one is from T. Daniels, asking if you can speak on how to approach over the job description and the job requirements on cybersecurity job posts. I think this is a little bit lengthy. Probably they're trying to see how you can break down job description and how they go about job requirements during job posts.
Now we will do that next week.
Let's do it. Okay.
Like that is a full session on this one.
Someone is asking what's the difference between IT audit and cybersecurity?
IT audits and cybersecurity.
Yes.
So I thought maybe probably the question would be IT audits and cybersecurity audits, right? So first, audits is audits. So whether it's financial audits or IT audits, you are doing audits. So like the principles are the same, but what you are looking at is what changes, right? So IT audits, cybersecurity or information security audit falls under IT audits. Your IT audit covers everything IT, which includes information security or cybersecurity, right? So when we talk IT as an umbrella, cybersecurity falls under IT. So that will be the relationship, right? If you're looking at IT audit and cybersecurity itself, that is the relationship right there, right?
Right. Thank you. So Faisal is asking if he can give more information on the apprenticeship. He will appreciate it. Faisal, do you mean, is it a general cybersecurity apprenticeship or is this a PCI one? Do you want to please specify?
Okay, I think I mentioned that we are working with New York, one of the state agencies. They have like an apprenticeship program, and we have a meeting with them on Monday. So more to follow on that, right? So for such programs, you are going to go through them to us, right? So it is going to be, I don't know how that is going to, more to follow on
All
that.
right. Perfect. Someone wants you to provide more information on how the income sharing agreement works.
Oh, okay. So thank you for income sharing. We have a third party company that will pay for your training. And once you are done, right, when you land a job making a certain threshold, then they are going to share your income. Like they will take a percentage. So you do it like instrumental payment to them over a certain period, right? But they have all that fine print. They have like different types of contracts there. So when you are filling out the forms, you'll be able to have the time to go through and choose which type of agreement that you want to go with. But like simply, they will pay for you, and then once you are done making a certain amount, then they take a percentage of your income for a certain period of time.
All
And for
right.
we've posted the link to everything on here. So the link to the free course, the link to make an appointment, the link to everything. So go ahead. Do we have like any more questions in there, Michael, before we wrap up?
I think we have two more. We'll make this brief. Someone is asking the difference between security consultant as a job role and security analyst.
Oh,
Difference between security consultant as a job role and security analyst.
yeah. So mostly for job roles, uh, we have generally how it's supposed to work or what you're supposed to do, but the company will ultimately decide what you are going to be doing. So for a security consultant, you can be doing a security analyst job, and a security analyst can be doing a security consultant job. But in general, like as a consultant, you are providing guidance and you are, the one coming with a strategy on exactly what they're supposed to do and stuff. So you are not actively engaged, or you are not part of the implementers actually implementing stuff. But in some companies, you'll be a consultant and still be doing, right? You are not just providing guidance, and you are not the subject matter expert only. You are also going to be doing as well. For a cybersecurity analyst, uh, depending on where you sit, it can be a managerial role, so you can be a cybersecurity analyst, senior analyst. So you have people working for you. So at that point, you are providing guidance also. But if let's say cybersecurity analyst, entry level, you are an implementer, you are going to working on a whole variety of things. I mean, including maybe some of the things that the consultant is supposed to be doing. So really, there's no limit to what they can have you do. That is why you have to be more comprehensive in your approach to security rather than just, focusing, especially when you are coming in, rather than just somebody telling you to specialize in a certain area, even though you really don't have any background. Because mostly, I think, I'm not sure if Noah is on here. For Noah's company, I think they brought Noah on as a cybersecurity analyst, and then they switched it up on him. They're like, hey, you're going to be doing third-party risk management. Right? And he was able to function. Noah has been working for almost, I think, 2 years. But if he didn't have that like the foundation that we gave him in the training and in the internship, like, and all that he knew was maybe third party, and they switch him to maybe GRC something, then he will be stuck, right? He'll be like battling every day. If he didn't get fired that day, then he would do a big, thank God, and then move on to the next day, hoping he's not going to get fired, right? But here he's able to switch to different roles because he understands what is going on, and he's able to apply himself, right? Is that it, Michael, or there's more?
And that'll be it. We'll take one more and that'll be it. So someone was asking, but I'll drop. Someone was asking if you can speak more on the DoD 8570 requirements. But I just posted a link in the chat for that individual. Maybe probably I know that's a lot, so it will take a while to cover that. But yeah, the DoD 8570 requirements is like a baseline requirement for IT folks who work in the DoD space, right? So they have a whole lot of them, maybe IAM, identity and access management. It talks about the baseline certifications that you need for that and so on and so forth, right? It's a whole stack. So I just dropped the link in the chat so you can go ahead and review that. I think last question before we wrap it up, someone is asking what would be a beginner certification for cybersecurity?
Security Plus. Now they have
No
the CC from ISC Square and the rest, but those are not really going to push you, right? You have to like the certification that if you're able to scale by not just memorizing questions, but you scaled because you understood your stuff, that is going to test, your skill sets is Security Plus. CC and the rest, I mean, like those ones are kind of like introductory certifications, but Security Plus, yes, gives you a very good grounding as an entry-level professional. Yeah, and also for like what Michael was talking about. So like on the government side, they have like hierarchies, and they've categorized different professionals within like the government space when it comes to cybersecurity. And they've also categorized the certifications and qualifications you need to be able to function in different. So like they have it in kind of similar to TS, right? So that is what they were talking. I mean, like that is a whole session on its own. So we'll probably look at that maybe later in the future and do something on the government side also. I think there is one question from your name shows Momo. Please go ahead. Oh, and
Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, please go ahead.
Yes, so I think I came in a bit late, but I thought to just squeeze this question in. So I've been working in the financial world for a long time for the DoD. I've been working in finance for a long time, maybe not long for certain people, but almost 10 years, right? But I just completed my master's in computer science, and my focus was on cybersecurity. I graduated like a year ago, and I'm trying to transition into that career field now. So, and I'm working on my Security Plus, right? Mm-hmm. So I usually use Udemy, and there's this guy called Dion. Mm-hmm. Dion training on Udemy. There's the guy I'm with, and I've been studying, and other different tools that I've been using to study. So, being that I'm within the DoD, right? How easy it is to transition to IT within the DoD rather than getting out working for it. Do you think it's advisable that I work for companies outside, like go to the private sector, work, or stay within the DoD and switch from where? Because my thing is, because I'm a GS-12 within the DoD in the financial side, but going to the IT part of the DoD, I'm completely a novice. So how can I reconcile those two?
Okay, so I think you can leverage your being in DoD. You can leverage that to get a DoD job in the IT side. Right now, I'm not sure. Like a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, DoD came up with a program because they were, in really dire need of cybersecurity professionals, and the corporate side was taking all the cybersecurity professionals because they were paying more than DoD and like the government in general. So what they did was they took people like you, Momo, financial managers and stuff, and they did like a boot camp for them for 6 months. they just pushed them into IT, like cybersecurity slots. Yeah, I think that program is probably still there. I don't remember, but yes, they took random people with HR background, different backgrounds, and they trained them And so you can easily do that switch within the DoD, frankly.
Okay. Thank you
Because
very
you're
much for that
already in,
information.
it's very easy
Yeah.
for you to pivot. But look into that. I think they still have, I don't remember the name of that program. It's been a while since I got in contact with that program. Yes, but yes, they did something like that. And I think they continuously do it. It's not a program that, it wasn't a one-time thing. It was something that
Okay.
they decided to do because, I mean, when it comes to like the job market for cybersecurity professionals, like corporate side is always paying more. And that has also made the DoD to boost their cybersecurity pay. So they don't only go with GS ranking, but then they
Okay.
have some additional like bonuses and stuff that kind of pushes the money all the way up. Just like how they do for like the medical side, right? Like in the
Yeah.
army, you get, and
Yeah,
like in the
yeah.
military, you get paid by rank. But then if you use only that, then all doctors and pharmacists and everybody's going to run away to the corporate side. So they,
Yeah, I
yeah,
agree with
like
that.
they give them bonus, just to augment. So yes, yeah, you can do that switch. So like,
All right, thank you so much. That was a very good information because I didn't know where to start from. I have this degree, it's just sitting there with me. I'm just doing training, trying to get my Security Plus, but I just don't know how to switch. But I'm definitely going to look into that. I appreciate it.
okay, great. All right.
All right,
So
Dr. Edu, I think there's a very last one, so we can wrap it up. I think it's very important. Someone is studying to write a SEC class next month, and they're trying to take advantage of your partnership with CompTIA so they can get a voucher.
okay, so how it works is like mostly you just email David at Eretmis, and they will give you like the follow-up instructions. So what we do is we just purchase the voucher on your behalf, right? So we will purchase it through our Eretmis account, and we get the 20%. So you are not going to pay the full price. I think it's now is what, 395, almost 400, but you pay like 320. So you save almost like $80. So we just purchase it on your behalf, and we are doing that legwork. We don't get paid for anything. We just want to give you that 20% discount, right? So reach out to David, and we will take care of you.
Do you do that for CISM as well?
So CISM and CISA and the rest, they don't have any discounts for anybody. So ISE Square, ISACA, they don't have discount for nobody, right? So no partners, nothing. It's only CompTIA that does the partnership and gives the 20%. Yeah, the other ones, I think they love their money too much, so they don't give any discounts. All right. So are we good, Michael?
So that will wrap it up. Thank you so much.
All right. I appreciate everybody's time. We are wrapping up for tonight. So if you need, please, everybody on here should have gone through our cybersecurity entry-level course. We have cybersecurity internship. So for folks like Momo, you can join that. That will you actually be doing. So bring all your skills and knowledge into one piece. And then also for the entry level, for PCI, for advanced certifications like CISSP and the rest, please go to our website and you'll be able to get more info. And next week, we will still be coming with something as a follow-up on this, looking at job descriptions and the rest and how to really navigate that space to get into the cybersecurity field. I appreciate everybody's time. Have a great weekend. And all interns, we still meeting tomorrow, usual times. So I'll be seeing everybody tomorrow, interns, but everybody else will see you next week, Friday. Have a great weekend and stay blessed.
Doctor, please.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, please. I just want you to, I will appreciate if you can share that knowledge gap, please, in the chat so that we can download it. Knowledge gap, competency, something like that you share.
Okay, so I'm just going to drop it in here, and I think you can also get it on the website. Let me just try and see if I can get it in here real quick. Yeah, so you can stay on. We are going to share that.
Thank you, sir.
All right, but for everybody else, have a great weekend.
Thank you.
You too, Doctor.
Yeah, you as well.
Thank you.
I appreciate that.
Good night, Captain.
Good
Thank you,
night.
Doctor.
Okay, so for some reason it's not allowing to upload on here. We will drop it in the WhatsApp group. So if you're on there, you'll be able to download it on there.
All right, thank you, sir.
All right, everyone, have a great one.
Okay.
All right, thank you, Dr. Edu.
Welcome. Great weekend, everyone.